The Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King, brought to you by Harvey Autos in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you've trusted for years. Geico, the insurance savings you expect. Supreme Chevrolet, expect more from Supreme Automotive Group in Gonzales.
Creed and Creed Law Firm, serious attorneys for serious injuries.
Bollinger Shipyards, 75 years of delivering high-quality vessels. Here's your host, Lieber King.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Coach, we go through COVID with sports, and we get this portal that comes into effect. And then after the portal, at first it was graduate transfers, then it was the portal, and now it's paying wide open, Wild Wild West, money of extreme amounts with no, I would say no contracts binding to where kids can leave at any time. What's your thoughts as a coach, as a legendary high school coach? It could have been a legendary college coach as well, on this whole where it's at, because I know you watch this every day. You pay attention to this. What do you think we can do, is there, in your opinion, to just solve this problem, or at least calm it down? Because college coaches can't coach these guys anymore, like long term, because they're a year. They're getting these 1 year guys. Yeah. And how do you develop when you have them 1 year?
Well, you can't. That's the first thing. And what's happened is that the word of commitment and loyalty has gone out of the window. And let me be honest with you. That was brought on by the coaches early on. You mentioned the early 2000s, and the money got into it. And as the money got into it, and coaches were hopping one job to the next, getting 8, 10-year contracts, 5-year contracts, the kind of money that they were being paid. And so I think that opened the door for people to begin to say, well, wait a minute, if they can do that, what about us?
Right.
And really it's very difficult to justify that in terms of how the player feels. But what we have done is that we have eliminated the value of athletics. Look, and I really believe this, if the only thing we have at the end of the game is a score, it's not worth all of this.
Right.
It's not worth the sacrifice that coaches make. It's not worth the time and the effort, the energy. There has to be some intrinsic value that's going to show itself in the everyday life of a young person when they get to be out of college, when they get to be fathers, when they get to be in business. And I think we've lost that commitment. The other thing that concerns me with it is that we're not teaching kids how to fight through the adversity. It's just the value of high school sports still, I think, has that. And college had it in terms of saying, just keep on keeping on. I'm going to keep working with you. You keep working. We're going to get to the result we want to get to. And we've lost that, because now if you're not happy, I'll just get in the portal and leave. And I'll wait for somebody else to come and offer me something more or better. And I think in that is a bad precedent, because life doesn't work that way. You find a job and you better make a commitment to that job, and you better do a job that's going to allow you to stay there and to continue to improve yourself. And I mentioned this to you before. I'm deeply concerned about the young people today who think that this money is just going to be available to them, and that because I'm good at what I do, that means I'm going to be rewarded that way. And life doesn't work that way. You have to earn what you make. You have to find a way to be able to bring value to the table over an extended period of time. And we've really lost that in college athletics specifically today. And that really concerns me in the future.
And Coach, we got to start signing high school kids again.
Well, I think those are the ones that really have gotten left out.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
unless you're a quote unquote 5-star recruit, which I have some problems with because that isn't always accurate.
Right.
But other kids are getting pushed to the back. They're getting left out. And again, one of the things that I would love to do, or I hope somebody will do a study on at some point, is are we really just trading players? Are we really just trading Johnny for Joe? And the difference between Johnny and Joe is negligible. It really isn't that big of an improvement.
Yeah.
And that goes to not giving coaches or not giving the institution the opportunity to develop a player, to let him work through the process, to improve his skill, to adhere to the coaching. And I'm not sure that we're not just exchanging rather than really improving.
Man, what would Woody Hayes and Joe Paterno and Bobby Bowden? They would not like this at all.
No, they would not exist in this world. And look, Coach Saban got out, and for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Coach is a loyalist. He's a guy that was committed to his players 100%, committed to his university 100%. And when he didn't hear that in their voices, when NIL was
Yeah.
more important than beating Texas in the semifinals,
Yeah.
I think that was enough.
I think Mac Brown got out at the right time
Yeah,
too. Same thing.
Exact same way.
Coach, hopefully something will be done through the political arena, and they can come in and plug it up and
That's
do
what I
something.
think some of the older heads are thinking, that if we're going to get this under control, that it probably needs to come from a national perspective through some kind of federal regulation. They regulate things that are out of whack anyway, and I think that would be something that they could get involved in. And look, there's a lot of smart people that can meet both ends
Right.
of the spectrum. They can provide the player with some incentive to continuance. One of the things I advocated for years ago was that put money in an escrow account when a young man enters school at LSU or Tulane or Ole Miss or wherever. Put money in an escrow account. Let it accrue over the course of his time there, for the 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
he's there. And upon graduation,
Yeah.
when he graduates, here's this nice little nest egg for you to start life with. What that would have done was it would have kept student athlete in the game rather
Yeah.
than athlete -- student.
Coach, since you brought that up, I've talked to a bunch of former college football players, well known, and the common agreement was these are all guys from the 80s. Yes, we would have taken a couple of $100 a month for food back then, but he said, give it to us when we're done.
Yeah. When they're finished.
They were all, because they said they would have been distracted.
Well,
Yeah.
because that's again how the world works.
Right.
You're rewarded after you complete the job.
Correct,
Not
correct.
before you've completed the
Right,
job.
right.
We're incentivizing people that don't accomplish what they've been asked to do. In the real world, we say, thank you, here's your pink slip.
Right.
Rightly so.
Right.
Today, we're giving them money and
Oh.
incentive before they ever accomplish what they were supposed to accomplish.
Before the
And
work.
It's a bad precedent to
Yeah.
set.
Changing the subject, Coach. Been a tough year for you. We talked. I came in here and I talked to you, and you are a very, very Christian man, very close to God, but you lost. Your wife passed away. I'll tell you that. Condolences. Ed Daniels.
Yeah,
You've had former players this recently.
it has.
It's been a tough.
It has. It's
Tough.
been a tough year. It's been a hard year. Losing Lydia 56 years together, and I share this with and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I share this with a lot of people. As much as I loved her and as much as I know she loved me, and we did a lot of good things together. One of the great things we did, we went to Israel and spent 2 weeks in Israel, and we did things of that nature. I wished I would have expressed to her how much I appreciated what she did. I wished I would have just said more to her, thank you for being who you are. And I'm not telling you that I feel guilty. I feel I should have done more. And that's what I would say to anybody that watches this. I was so blessed to have a wife that was completely supportive, committed to her children, overcommitted to her grandchildren, because spending money on them was no problem for her.
Let's do this picture real quick while you're talking. That's the picture, the family.
That's
Great picture.
That is the crew. And,
Great
and
picture.
look, she was just a wonderful wife, and a better mother and a better grandmother. She really was. Losing Ed was hard. Was not thought about. It wasn't something that was even a concern. We were getting ready to prepare for our 32nd year of Friday Night Football. Quick, funny story. He called me and he said, now look, he said, I'm going to San Diego to cover the Saints. He said, when I get back, we'll get the show and we'll do a run through. I said, Ed, we're going into year 30.
We don't need a run through.
I said, I got this down.
We got
okay,
it. We
I'm
got it.
telling
You know,
Oh,
yeah.
I know we do.
Yeah.
I said, okay, we'll do the run through when you get back.
Right.
All right. And of course he wasn't able to come back. But again, his wife Robin, I know how much she misses him, and how difficult it was for us, because he was the backbone of that show. But he also was the backbone of that Sugar Bowl basketball tournament, which was a national tournament that he put on. He was in the process and had going that he was going to do a huge volleyball tournament at Christmas for the volleyball team. He was so into high school athletes and giving them a stage to be able to show their skill. And of course, his tragic death, just all that stopped, and that was a tremendous loss for us. And we've lost some of our close people here. I just lost the safety, played for us, played at Mississippi State, and a boy named Scott Gamina, who died tragically and unexpectedly. But life goes on. And one of the things that we know from a Christian perspective is that we're not guaranteed tomorrow, but we ought to know who guarantees eternity.
And I'll say this, Coach. My mom's there with your wife.
There you go.
With all our, we got a big fan crew.
There you go. I tell people this. I had to catch myself early on saying, oh, poor Lydia, I felt so bad for her. Really, she's looking at us and saying,
Worried about us.
Don't feel too bad for me.
No aches and
This
pains
is
up there.
Exactly where I need to be.
Yeah.
You're the one I feel sorry
No
for.
aches and pains
That's
in
right.
heaven.
That's right. So anyway, that's a reassurance. That's a calmness that comes into your spirit. But I do miss her.
But I wanted to thank you for being such a positive influence for the state since '69.
Thank you.
I got in this in '90. And one of the first games I went to, you were playing Baker. And I remember going up to you saying, hey, Coach, how you doing? And ran into you a few games over the years. You know, you've won a lot of state championships here. You're the all-time winningest coach in the nation. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. That goes to a lot. That goes to a
lot of people,
a lot of
huh?
people. Yeah, it really does.
And
You
your
know,
longtime staff, you still got
Oh.
guys with you from the beginning.
Unbelievable.
You want to mention you guys that have been
well,
with you from the beginning?
my brother's still with me.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
started with me in '73. I lost Mike Robertson to cancer 5 years back, and he was with me 40 years. And I know people think that, oh man, but I think we created a work environment where true coaches, true teachers could do what they love to do, and do it from the right perspective.
Yeah.
And, now I've been able to not only have my sons, both Johnny and Jeff, but I've got my nephews, Steve and Matt, and Lance and Preston Curtis all working with us here. And, people ask me all the time, man, how y'all get along? And I said, I think my father would have it no other way.
And
We
now
were
you
raised that way.
And now you got 2 grandkids on the team.
And now I got my 2 my oldest grandson and my oldest granddaughter working with us. So, when your objective is positive and you recognize what the value of what you're doing is, not just in the immediate sense, but from an eternity perspective, from a lifelong perspective, I think it keeps things where they need to be. And you check your ego at the door and you worry about serving other people. We can do no greater service to God than to serve His creation.
Yeah.
No greater service. And when we do that, it's pleasing and honoring to Him, and it gives you a fulfillment that passes human understanding.
Coach, in closing, I want to ask you this, because I know that you would appreciate this. Any young coach out there, any young referee that's thinking of getting into coaching or to being a ref, what advice would you give them about the game of football, which is such a phenomenal game?
Yeah. It's really simple for me.
We're lacking both right now.
We are. And it's really simple. Do it because you love it, and work at it every day to get a little better. Look, I've been doing this a long time. I just spent time at a coaching clinic a couple of weeks ago. And in that clinic, I heard things that I were able to incorporate into what we do that will make us a better team. Same thing for officials. Good officials are people that love the game and they love to see kids be treated fairly, but to be treated honestly. And when you do that, I'm telling you, it's so rewarding, it's not work. I'm telling you, coaching is not work for me, and coaching is not work for the other guys. They love what they do, and it shows in the result.
50 plus years, head coach. The passion's still there, Coach. Appreciate you taking the time with me today.
Good.
I really do.
We
Appreciate
enjoyed
you.
it, Lee, and look forward to a few more years anyway.
That's right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching the Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King.